So I'm going to be making some little ghost figurines using these adorable little silicone molds that I picked up from Temu. And we're going to be actually doing that with some Plaster of Paris that I just picked this up from our local hardware store. It was around $11 and I get quite a bit of it here in this container. Now this says that it sets hard in 20 to 30 minutes and you have about a 6 to 10 minute working time with it. And as far as mixing goes, you just want to add 2 parts of this Plaster of Paris with 1 part of cold water. Mix it up till it's nice and smooth, and then basically just pour it into your molds. Now they do say that you want to make sure that you wet your molds a little bit prior to putting the Plaster of Paris in here, so that obviously you'll be able to get the mold off a little easier afterwards, after it's already set. All right, so I think we're just gonna go for it. So what I've done is I just measured out 2 scoops of this quarter measuring cup. So I've got a 1/2 cup of Plaster of Paris in here. And then I'm just gonna put a 1/4 cup of water and mix it up with a little wooden stick. But first, before I do that, I'm just going to wet the inside of my mold here with a little bit of water. So my mold is nice and wet and I'm just gonna go for it. I'm gonna pour a 1/4 cup of water into our Plaster of Paris. And I think the big stick's kind of overkill. I'm just going to use this little popsicle stick here. And I'm just going to mix this till it's nice and smooth. You want to be kind of careful and not to breathe all this dust stuff that's coming off the Plaster of Paris. Probably not good for you. If you want to do this outside, might be a good idea too. A well-ventilated area. So I'm just going to get this mixed up nice and smooth so there's no lumps. And like it said on the package, got about 6 to 10 minutes to work with this stuff before it starts to set. So do have quite a bit of working time. I wasn't sure how much I was going to need because I'm using the smaller mold here first. So I'm hoping that I have enough here to fill up that little mold. And this is nice and mixed together here now. I don't have any lumps or bumps in this. This is all nice and smooth. So I think I'm just gonna go for it here. We're gonna start pouring some of this right into our little mold here. And I'm going to just sort of tap it as I go along here. And what happens when you tap it is some of the little air bubbles will come to the surface. And we don't want any air bubbles in here once it's all set. So just gonna go a little bit at a time. Keep shaking it here. Oh, I think this amount is actually going to be pretty good. Pretty close to what I need here. Can't wait to see what these are going to look like. I think these are going to be perfect for putting on a tiered tray or just having, you know, on a console table or on your counter. Lots of little spaces you can find. Put them on like a little shelf. Oh yeah, that amount was perfect. Look at that, almost like I knew what I was doing. I think for the other mold, because it's a little bit bigger, I might do 1.5 dry Plaster of Paris. Oh yeah, this is perfect. So I'm just gonna get this in here as level as I can. And then I'm gonna mix up a little bit more and I'll fill up my other mold. Voila. So I'm going to go ahead and proceed to fill up my second mold here. I already ran it under the tap, so it's nice and wet on the inside. I've got 3 scoops of my Plaster of Paris, so that means I need about 1.5 scoops of water. So I'm just gonna go ahead, and I'm just using the same container that I used for the first one. It hasn't been very long and it still hasn't set on me, so I'm just gonna go for it here. Again, being careful not to breathe in any of that dust. It's probably not good for your lungs. So this is all nice and smooth now. So I'm gonna go ahead and just pour a little bit of this in at a time into my mold, kind of tapping as I go. And I can see those little air bubbles coming right to the top when I do that. And I'm just gonna keep going. I'm thinking, and I'm assuming you could probably get these molds on Amazon too. Like, I have not looked on Amazon, but they were really inexpensive on Temu. If I remember, I will put the link, the product link of these little molds here. And they had different varieties as well, so keep that in mind. Okay, this is just about all the way to the top. Just gonna tap this a few times and it kind of levels itself out, which is perfect. If I don't quite have enough to fill the mold all the way to the top, it's not a big deal. I'm not gonna worry too much about it. And if you kind of take your stick and just kind of pop some of those little air bubbles that do come to the top, that helps. I'm actually a dental assistant by trade, so I'm very familiar with working with, it's not Plaster of Paris that we worked with, but it's very similar. You mix up this powdery substance with water, you put it into impressions that you take of people's mouths, of people's teeth, and then you pour up to get these models, and it's very, very similar process. So not a stranger to this process for sure. So I'd be really embarrassed if this doesn't turn out, because I should be able to get this to work, like I say, just because of what I do for a living. So we're gonna let this set up. What did I say it took? Let's see, 20 to 30 minutes, I believe. Yeah, it sets hard in 20 to 30 minutes. So we're just gonna let that harden. And when I come back, we're gonna take these molds off and see what we're left with. All right, so it's been an hour and our plaster of Paris is nice and hard now. So let's go ahead and see how easy these are to get out of the mold and see how they turned out. I love these silicone molds. You just kind of peel them off, basically. Oh my goodness. Oh. Oh man, look at that. That turned out so well. So what I'll do is I'll take a little bit of black paint and I'll just fill in where the little eyes here are. And it did say that you could take a little bit of like a fine grit sandpaper, like wetted a little bit, so that, you know, that you can kind of just go around and make sure everything is really smooth. But it actually turned out really well. Oh my gosh, I am so happy. All right, so that one's all done. Let's check this one out. This one's a little bit bigger and just a little different style. So let's just kind of pull this away carefully and see what this one looks like. Oh, this one's got a little bit more to it, a little more detail. I'm so scared it's gonna break. Oh, okay, this one's my favorite. Oh my gosh, you guys. Get yourself some silicone ghost molds. They are just way too much fun to play with. So here's a little peek of how I displayed these adorable little ghost figurines, and I just love how they turned out. Oh man, they are so cute, and yeah, I'm really happy with those little molds. They worked so well, and yeah, I highly recommend you get some. So if you like this DIY, you're definitely going to want to stick around, because coming up in the next little while here, I'm going to be doing a few more ghost DIYs here on my channel. So till next time, happy crafting, happy October, and I will catch you again soon. Bye for now, everyone.